it's Tasha, MamabearPrepping. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. You already know what time it is. Get your drink and pull up. Before we get started today, get your pen and paper, first of all, ready to go, okay? Because I'm about to put a bunch of information on you, and I want you to take notes so that you can then come up with some ideas or things that you can still do for fortification of your home. But first, I want to do a shout out to my girl. I'm not going to say her name, you guys, but she runs a company, a seed company on Etsy, you guys. They have a farm, and it's called Buckeye Seed Garden. I'm going to put it right here, the name. And I will put the link to her Etsy page on my description box, you guys. But amazing. She's one of my subscribers and a member. And she sent me, you guys, a ton of seeds. Look at all these seeds. She sent me just tons of stuff. She even sent me these, right, hot pepper seeds that I could use, right, for some, you know, pepper spray, homemade pepper spray. So I'm super excited. And then she additionally sent me a little side collaboration of different antibiotics, okay? Toothache stuff, Initiia, all types of stuff. So just super excited, super, I just feel totally blessed, totally loved. You can't have too many seeds. And oftentimes you guys, subscribers, ask me, hey, where to get seeds, where to get seeds. And my answer always is like, I just get them everywhere, baby, everywhere. But now I have my go-to seed place. So I'm going to be going to Buckeye Seed Garden to get my seeds, you guys. And I'm super excited. And I hope that you use the link and get some seeds. And what I'll be doing is there's a coupon code that she said I could share with you guys. The coupon code is you're the best. And I'll put that with the link when I put it in the description box. Okay. So let's get into today's topic. It might be kind of long, but it's important, okay? What I think about, first of all, I've done this topic a couple times, maybe not as in-depth, but I've talked about home defense and the importance of fortifying your home on many occasions. Today, I am going to bring it a little bit harder, you guys, especially for those that have kind of the basics already laid out, but you're thinking and wanting other ideas. And so hopefully something I say today will jog your memory or help you develop something else that you want to incorporate into your already defensive plan, okay? Now, the thumbnail, you guys, right? Fear leads to action. You know, sometimes I feel like with these videos that I do for you guys, that you guys like the scary stuff, okay? And a lot of people will throw out words like fear porn, and this is fear mongering and fear, but y'all like that, okay? And I'm just going to keep it real. We as a people kind of like that. And sometimes I feel like when I'm trying to come up with video ideas, you guys are like, Tasha, tell us a scary story, right? And so, because this stuff is kind of scary, right? But you got to be prepared. And fear leads to action. When you are fearful or you are scared, that your body kicks into gear and that results in action, okay? So hopefully something that I say today in regards to fortifying your home and getting it ready does cause a little bit of fear in the sense of making you know the urgency and being prepared with getting some of these things in order so that you're ready. So without further ado, let's get into it. So how to fortify your home. And I wrote everything down, so bear with me so I can get through these notes, okay? And these are just a few thoughts or areas of priority that we're going to talk about that I think are very important and that I broke them down in, okay? So number one is soft target, hard target. The number one reason why just basic thieving, right? Basic break-ins, basic home invasion, robberies, that type of thing, is because somebody has scouted out the area, they've come across your house for some reason, and you appear to be a soft target, an easier target for them. Either they see that you are gone all the time, maybe they see that your property is very dark and it'd be easy to conceal, easy to get in without neighbors seeing. Maybe they can tell that you've gone on vacation and you're not there. Maybe they can tell that, okay, man, they go to bed every night and I can see clearly 2 or 3 windows are open, okay? They can see that you are a soft target, and therefore it's easier for them to just go ahead and cross the line as far as seeing if they can get in and get something from you, okay? Whether that's without you knowing or whether you're there and, you know, possible harm could come to you, okay? So the goal, you guys, of fortifying your home is to become a hard target, to make your home a hard target, for you to be a hard target, and for the appearance and for your home to give the appearance that this is not going to be easy. If you want in this home, it's not going to be easy, okay? And a lot of times your basic criminal, your basic person that's just trying to thieve will move on to the next house because they will clearly see, okay, this is not as easy as it looks. Now today people are getting bolder, and you can have cameras and lights galore, and they will still walk up right to the camera, check the front door if it's locked, check windows, check your car doors. So they're going a step further, that some of those things to deter before are not going to work. And they're going to go a little bit further to double check, that you're a hard target. And then a lot of them, they'll move on. It's locked. Okay. But some of them maybe go further. Okay. So just the harder you make it to yourself a hard target, the less chances of you actually something happening. Okay. So that's the number one thought or takeaway that I want you to think about. The next thing is walk your property. Now, a lot of you are like, I have an apartment. You're doing this. Okay. We did that here. Okay. Wherever you live, I don't care if you have, you're an apartment, you're in a townhome. It's a house, it's a rental, you own it. It doesn't matter. You have a lot of property, you have a homestead, you have acres. You need to walk your property. Immediately, you're walking just around. Like if you have property, you're just doing your home and immediate area first. And then you would branch out to your different areas of your land. But even an apartment, we walked out the front door and we walked around the entire, right by our apartment first, right? And identified this stuff. And then we walked around the entire apartment building itself that we are part of, okay? And we thought about things and did things. So first we, where's this at? We are figuring out things like, where are the dark spots, right? You're walking around what is not naturally lit up. Areas that at night do not have any kind of light on them at all, and they are dark. Areas that anybody could creep up and hide, right? They could hide right here by this dark area in this bush, wait for you to leave or wait for something, right? And then they could get in the house or whatever, okay? So look for your dark spots, places that are not well lit, hiding spots. Look at all your points of entry. Think to yourself as you're looking at your home, if I wanted to get in this home, how would I do it? Points of entry, the doors, the windows, okay? Those are the number one ways people are getting in. The garage, right? Any kind of side doors, think about how you would get into the house. How would the person get from the front yard to the backyard? Is it easy for them to do so? Okay. Is it easy? How would they get into the garage? How would they get into the shed, an RV that's sitting there? Any of that stuff. You are the criminal. How would you just basically get in? And you're taking notes of how you would get in. And then you're taking notes of what needs locks, what looks like that it would be easy to get into, what is not lit up, and just write down notes, because that's going to help feed, the supplies and the things that you need to get. Okay. And then we're going to talk about some of those things. Okay. But the first thing is looking at your property and looking at it through the lens of how easy would it be to get into my house? Okay. How easy would it be for somebody to burn my house down? How easy would it be for a marauder group to come right up to my front door? Okay. What is stopping them? All these things matter. Okay. How could I defend my property? How could I fence off my property? How could I fortify my fence? Those are the things. Think outside the box and look in. Okay. The next thing I have is, okay, so let's talk about points of entry. We're going to break it down a little bit. So points of entry, doors, windows. So I took a lot of notes, but I want to get through this. So windows, you think about simple things like dowel rods. I'm a huge fan of dowel rods, not shower curtain rods, things like that. The big, thick dowel rods that you buy at Home Depot. If you actually measure your window, you can take that measurement there and they'll cut the dowel rod to the size that you need. And then you just bring them home and pop them in your window. Those are nice and thick, and it's very hard to get into a window and slide it open with that. Okay. Yes, your window could be broken, but that's one piece of defense. With everything you're going to be talking about today and thinking about is layers of defense, okay? Layers of barriers, and this is a layer, okay? Something as simple as somebody walking up to a window and looking, oh, they got that stinking stick in there, okay? Is a huge deterrent, okay? Next thing is ballistic film. So ballistic film is a film that you can get that, obviously it does not stop a bullet, you guys, right? But you put that on your window and it does slow down. It does help with the ferociousness or fastness of them breaking your window, right? It slows them down with being able to break your window if they're hitting your window with something. Again, a lot of these things are just to slow somebody down, to alert you so that you can come in. If you have ballistic film and you have a stick, you have all these things, it's very hard for somebody to get in, and you're already there. By the time they get in the window, you're there to protect yourself, okay? Small alarms. So there's a lot of door and window alarms, little cute ones that you can buy. Even Home Depot or even Dollar Tree has some, okay? But there's varying stuff on the market that you just stick up on the window. And again, it's just another small alarm that's directly for that window and that door alone, right? There are stuff that's set up with other home security systems that have ideally the same thing that you can set up. Home security systems that you buy, you have the cameras, you have all that stuff. And then they come with these little window and door alarms. However, you can buy this stuff independently and just put those alarms on the certain doors and stuff that you want, and they're independently ran, okay? Everything for the most part that I'm going to talk about today too is is grid down friendly, meaning you can do this stuff and have this stuff and it will help protect you even with no power, right? We don't want a fancy security system and then that goes down and then we're dead in the water. So with getting the film, with getting the block, with doing these different things is going to be helpful to slowing somebody down, but it's still going to be in effect when it's grid down, blackouts, whatever, okay? Think having your long-term stuff for windows, like boards. Having boards, you know, are you going to have boards that you're going to put on windows from the outside? Are you going to have boards that you're going to board up your windows from the inside? Are you going to do both? I mean, imagine having both and the dowel rod and the ballistic window. I mean, you just have a lot of layers depending on how bad stuff gets, okay? But I'm telling you this so that you can be prepared. You can have this wood already cut, ready to go, sitting in your garage, sitting on the side of a room. I mean, people be like, I can't do that. I have an apartment. We have wood right here sitting by this table, okay? Ready to go if I had to board up these windows, okay? You can do what you want to do. So do not tell yourself that you can't do stuff because either it's too expensive or your location, you can't do it, okay? We have these things and we have an apartment. Yes, I don't have ballistic film on the windows here, you guys, but I have dowel rods, I have boards, I have things that I know I can still do here in an apartment, okay? But if you have a house, baby, I'm getting everything. You have to have everything, all right? You can also think barriers like things that are in front of your window that stop or hinder somebody from getting into your window, like bushes or any kind of shutters that you can close, any kind of big planters with a tree or a plant in front of you, any kind of cement planters, like you can put big cement planters in front of your windows and then plant in them. Some people will say, well, you just give them a step up to the window, possibly, but it really depends on what you grow there, okay? It could be very much in the way depending on what you grow, okay? And what you actually put in front of the window, okay? So think barriers and what you can do. Another thing for doors, you'll hear this on every single channel, you guys, is the longer screws. Yes, you can untake out the screws in your door, do the much longer ones because it will go in way farther past the frame, right? Which makes obviously the door more intact, okay? So that's smart. I say when I'm thinking about doors for our home, things like that, I'm always thinking about heavy duty doors. I'm thinking multiple deadbolts, okay, within the door feature, right? Not extra locks. I'm talking about actual more deadbolts that are built into the door. And I think no windows, okay? Windows and doors, I hate, okay? I hate windows right there next to the door that could be broken and then just reach in and get through the door. When you're talking about turmoil, you're talking about chaos, people trying to get in. At this point, it's not just your robbers and your everyday thieves that you're worried about. Now you're worried about people that are desperate, that are searching homes, trying to get food, okay? And if you have a door with a window that could easily be broke or windows all on the side because you have this fancy, beautiful front door, that stuff bothers me, okay? Or if you have a door that's just a basic door with no deadbolt or even one deadbolt, I hate it, okay? So the more you have there, the better. Also think emergency bars that you can put up fast in front of doors, right? Get these side metal pieces that the wood would just set in, right? Get a couple of those brackets for each side of the door, and a heavy 2x4, right? Have it measured out, have it ready to go. You don't put that up and have that up every day, but if stuff really gets bad and it's like there's looting and pillaging and people are bad and people are going from house to house trying to get stuff, you can throw those up with your screwdriver and throw up that board, and it's just another protection for that door for somebody being able to kick it in, okay? And you can do that, have a couple for that door if you wanted to. Just depends. Another thing too is be thinking about heavy furniture that you've kind of already identified, that you could be like, okay, if something happened, I could put this in front of a window, or I could move this in front of the door, okay? Think about blocking stuff, all right? And what you have in your home to do that if you needed to do that. Let's see. I talked about that. How would you block it? Okay. With windows and doors too, think about your viewpoints. Okay. If you go blocking up all your windows with boards, where's your vantage point? How are you seeing outside? Right. And so that goes into my next thing is, eyes on the outside from the inside. Now, obviously you could do this with cameras, but let's just talk about grid down. You have no cameras. What could you do? So obviously you should have a camera system that you could see outside, but let's say it's grid down and you cannot see outside anymore. That stuff is off grid. It's off, it's down. There's no internet. You can't use those cameras anymore. You know, do you have CCTVs set up? Maybe you have a small generator running a CCTV that you can see with some cameras that are running off of batteries or whatever. Maybe you have something like that, but the average person is not. So just be thinking that as you're boarding stuff up, as you're blocking stuff up, how are you still seeing outside? What windows can you do peepholes? Where can you still see to have a vantage point outside your home? Okay, what does that look like? You've got to figure that out. Is it slots? Is it slits that you have planned that are cut out in those boards? Is it higher windows that you don't have a board, but you're able to just see? Maybe it's a smaller window. So you could just have a vantage. Is it a balcony? What is it that you're planning or vantage point to be able to see outside, right? If somebody's outside your door, how are you able to see who's outside your door without obviously a camera that's on the grid? Okay. So just some things to think about. Okay. Cameras, as far as cameras too, another good one is game cams or hunting cameras. A lot of hunters use game cams. They're run off batteries. You can throw them up on a tree and you can record an area or a place. You can do that. The only thing is, obviously they ran out of batteries, so you have to have that stuff. And they're not like live feed, like you can watch it. You put it out, it records, and then you take it down and you can review the footage. And they do that to see if there's like deer in the area, things like that. But you could do that essentially for people and your property too. You could put those out at night and then review them the next day and just kind of see, hey, has anybody been peeking around? Is there people jumping the fence, trying to jump the fence and look around? What was happening outside on the street or whatever? Okay, so you can get an idea of how busy the traffic is around your area during a certain period of time. But the only thing is you have to be able to get to that, put it up, and then get it to view the footage. Okay, but I like that. I like the hunting cameras. Okay. With this too, think lighting. So this is back and forth though. So ideally you want your whole house to be lit up on a regular basis. Your whole house should be lit up. There should be no dark areas. You should watch your property, see where the dark areas are, throw some solar lights, all solar. And so that it's always motion sensor, solar ran, you have lights. Okay. The problem with this is if it's grid down and your house is the only house on the block that is lit up like a Christmas tree, this could have a negative effect where people now, it appears you have power and you bring attention to yourself. Okay. Now, if it's a onesie, twosie lights that are motion censored and your neighbors kind of already knew what your lights were, like, okay, they don't have power, that they've had those lights, then that's one thing. But so be careful. Okay. This is kind of a double-edged sword on, you want to be safe, you want to light stuff up, but sometimes it could be safer to not be lit up and to be in the dark. Okay. So you're going to have to determine that depending on what is going on. Okay. But again, how do you see if you now take down all your lights because you're trying to do light discipline, right? You want to you want your house to be dark like everybody else's, but then you take that security away too. If people are going house to house to try to get stuff, you don't have that light preference now to be able to see who's outside. So just stuff to think about. Okay. All right. Next thing we're going to talk about is your outdoor perimeter. So Couple things to think about when you talk about outside perimeter. This is your immediate house. This is your front yard. Maybe you have a gate, maybe you don't. Going into the backyard, your little patio, whatever it is. For an apartment, maybe this is just a front porch, maybe a walk up to the front door, maybe the stairs to the front door, maybe it's a patio, maybe it's a balcony. This is what I'm talking about. You know, you should be thinking about your outside perimeter. What happens if somebody gets up that balcony, and what do you have in play to protect that balcony and stop people from actually going up there? Okay, so there's a couple things. Think multiple barriers, gates, shutters. So extra things for the windows, extra gates. Even people with homes oftentimes have like a little walk up that you're able to build a little wall and then put a gate just so that little walk up area is gated. Okay, think about multiple barriers to get to you. Those things matter. Okay, think about really any kind of gating or structure where they have to go through multiple things to get to you is important. Okay, think importance of dogs. Again, could be a double-edged sword with dogs because they can alert you, but then also people know there's a dog there, you know, there's people there, right? So it just depends on the situation and what you're wanting to do, but dogs oftentimes are important. Also, little dogs will alert before big dogs. So you might have big dogs, but those little dogs usually will alert the big dogs first. Okay, so even if you have a little dog and you're like, I don't have a dog that's gonna be, it's just an alert system, okay, to help you, whether you have the dog indoors or outdoors. But think, dogs are a deterrent. Okay, outside, let's go a little bit further. Let's say you have a balcony, or let's say you have a backyard. You can get stuff like getting some barbed wire. You could put barbed wire at the top of that balcony, okay, so that nobody can climb up or make it difficult for them to climb up over that balcony. Same thing with a fence line, barbed wire all the way around the fence. If you don't have barbed wire, you can take 2x4s and bust nails through them so the nails are poking up through the top, and then nail those across the top of your fence, okay? Or you know, take some zip ties and put those across your balcony, okay? Or any area you don't want somebody crawling up to get to your apartment or crawling into your apartment, okay? There's a lot of things that you can do. You got to get creative. Let's see. Think about, you know, can a car drive up? This could be for apartments, but really homes, you know. What kind of barriers do I have? Can somebody just drive their car literally up my, you know, yard right to my house and just drive a car right into my house? What barriers do you have to stop cars, marauders, that type of thing? You know, what kind of barriers do you have to stop defensive tool fire? Somebody is firing at your home, at you guys, right? Maybe a group of people trying to scare you. They're about to breach. They're shooting towards you guys. You know, how dependable is your house? First of all, what is your house made out of? Do you have any kind of fortification inside to fortify that wall? Do you have planters? You can do cement pavers and do a big planter outside the front of your entire home and make it wide, right? Make it super wide, like 3 feet out, pavers, and then fill it with dirt and put plants in it, beautiful plants in it. And that is a barrier that you can stay below, that will, you know, that you can hide behind or be behind your inside your home, but somebody's shooting at your home, okay? So that you don't get struck. Think about those things. Think about, that's a barrier also that stops somebody from driving a car into your home possibly, okay? Just think about multiple barriers, okay? Planters, trees, things that will stop somebody from just coming up, okay? Okay, so blocking measures, locks on everything. You're locking the cars. You should be locking your RVs, any extra cars, even the broken cars. Maybe you have old cars, lock those, lock gates, sheds. What I like is double locks. So for things like simple things, you have locks on your house, right? You need to have locks on in bars for outside doors, right? But interior doors, when maybe somebody breaches you, you're running to different rooms, and those rooms have barriers themselves too. Your gates, Okay, a lot of people will have a lock on the gate, but if something happens, I'm going to have locks on the front of the gate. One is a deterrent. People can clearly see, okay, that gate has an extra lock on it, but then also you're going to have your locks on the back too. Okay, so you're gonna have a lock on the front, lock on the back. Now they've got it, maybe they have bolt cutters, but get quality locks that are not easy, that your average bolt cutters cannot cut. Okay, and then have them on both sides of the gate. If you have locks on both sides of the gate and you have some sort of barbed wire or nails or something on the top, they're not bothering with you. That's just too much for them to try to get through. Okay, unless you did something to them, they're just not going to be, they're like, no, this isn't worth it. Okay. So gates, I like double locks. I'm a huge fan of those double locks. Can it drive up? Marauders, right? I did that. Marauders is like a whole other video, you guys. Let me know if you guys want to know about marauders and how to deal with marauders. But you have other things too, like gate alarms, just like the same thing I said, alarms types on different windows and doors. You can have some sort of alarm on gates, on your garage door, on a side garage door, that type of thing. Driveway alarms, so you can put where you have an alarm where if they come through the driveway, that they have that same thing. If you have a big piece of property and you have a long driveway, but you have a gate maybe down by your access road, and maybe have some sort of alarm that alarms you as soon as somebody comes through that. Again, you need to think stuff that's battery ran, so that if it's grid down, you're not, in the dark because grid down happened and they were able to come through and you didn't even know that they came through. Okay. All right, let's think deterring tactics. We talked already about deterring and a lot of ways to deter, but signs. Having oftentimes a sign by your garage door or in the front of your house that says, look, there's nothing in this house that's worth dying for. Simple things like that. Dog signs, stuff like that will deter certain people. Okay, so just throw it up and have those things ready to go so that you can put them up. Okay, maybe it's total collapse and you're writing a big bioterrorism type symbol on the side of your house, disease inside or something like that. Like whatever it is that could help deter people. It depends on what's going on, but think about the situation of what's going on and why everybody's going crazy and what the chaos is about, and then utilize that and capitalize on that by basically spray painting your house, okay, and letting people know this is dangerous to go here. At whatever level of dangerous they feel, or that you feel that you need to share with them, do that. Okay. Let's see. Don't leave stuff out. Right. So don't leave. This goes back to hardening your home, right? Don't leave stuff out to entice people that, oh, they have something. If it's chaotic and everybody is looking for everything, don't leave stuff out. Don't have planters with tomatoes in your front yard that everybody can see. And they're like, oh, okay, that's food, right? Everything needs to be put up in a sense of, if it looks like it's valuable, you should not have it out because you're enticing somebody like they need that. Okay. And then locks and lights. I already talked a lot about locks and lights, but that stuff works for deterring. Okay. 7, let's talk about inside. Okay, so inside, getting breached, that type of thing. You should be having hiding spots, places where either kids can be hiding or you can go to hide, but you need to have those already situated in your home where, in case people came in, where would you hide? Extra door bars, right? I already mentioned that, but I'm thinking interior doors now, right? Somebody flees to a certain room that it's barriers, and again, it's giving you time, right? So being able to lock interior doors, put up a bar, or have a piece of furniture that you're going to move is helpful for kids and giving them time while, again, you're getting your defensive tools in order. Think high ground. It's your home, so you already have the defensive upper hand by knowing the layout of your home and knowing where stuff is. They don't know that. Okay. So use that to your advantage. Where all the entry points are, doors are, how to get out, all that stuff. So use that to your advantage and use the higher ground. They come in, use the higher ground. How would you fortify that higher ground? Okay. And then of course have an evac plan. If the hiding spots weren't going to do it for long term, how would you get your family out of the home? Let's say it's totally overran by a huge marauder group. How would you guys evac? How would you get out of that home safely without getting hurt? Okay. For us, we're going down. we're going down with the ship. But you need to have these plans in case that ends up, plans change though. Okay, so you have to be prepared for different things. All right, so let's go over some tips. That's everything I have. Let's go over some tips. Staging defensive tools. If it gets to a point where you're employing wood on windows and different tactics, and you're doing double locks and you're doing barbed wire and things like that, that means it's bad. Okay, and so if you're doing that, you need to be staging everything. You should have defensive tools on you at all times. You should have defensive tools staged everywhere in your home so that if you have to go somewhere, a different window, a different room, whatever, you already have stuff staged, ready to go. Okay. Have lethal stuff, right? But have non-lethal stuff, right? Have your homemade pepper sprays, okay, in a little water bottle, okay? Have some stuff ready to go that's non-lethal too, okay? So that you have options depending on what's going on. Have things, even something as simple as a bullhorn, okay, could deter somebody if you start employing that. Like, hey, you are going to die through the bullhorn. You are going to die if you come in this home. I'm just warning you now. I'm just giving you a friendly warning. It's not a good idea, okay? Something as simple as that, non-lethal, could possibly deter somebody, okay? Okay, so stage your defensive tools. Think grid down, which most of the stuff you guys still, you can employ this stuff with grid down. And there's all types of ideas. You can literally Google online how to defend my home from all types of stuff to get bona fide ideas of how to protect yourself. Take a garden hose, again, hit the nails all the way through it and string those all over your front yard, okay? So that it's difficult for people to just run up on your home. You got these garden hoses everywhere with, nails sticking out of them. All right. So just think about things that you can do. There's a lot of creative things that you can do. Okay. Think barriers to slow down, right? Barrier upon barrier, right? They get through one thing, they come across the next thing that they have to get to. Do not make it easy to make entry. And then the last thing I have is think about your kids and their self-defense. What is their last line of defense? Are they armed? What do you have? What have you given them to protect themselves at the last line of defense? That's if you're there or you're not there, okay? Something's happened to you. What is their last line of defense? Do they know what they're supposed to do if something happens to you? How do they get out of the house? How do they flee? What do they have on their person to protect themselves? Okay. Have those conversations. I'm not saying you have to have those hard conversations now, but if you guys get to the point where you're boarding windows and you're barbed wiring and you're doing things like that, you better be sitting down your kids and explaining stuff. But if you've done your basic hardening of your home and walked your home and talked about that with your kids, they kind of know, okay, we have cameras, we have this, we have that. They don't have to know the hardcore stuff, but like our kids, they know hiding spots. If bad men come in, they don't open the door, period. They don't open the door, period, every day. No kids are opening the doors here, okay? But they know about the basics of fortification and what we're doing here and things that we've done in this home to protect ourselves, okay? And for the more hardcore stuff, for survival, in case something happens to you, that's what you want them to know. That part of the plan they need to know, okay? Some things, right? There's tons of supplies that I just went through of different things to get. I might try to put a couple things under the description box, you guys, but a lot of this stuff, it's going to depend on you and what you plan to do. It does not matter I don't want to see no comments about, I have an apartment, I can't do this stuff. You absolutely can do this stuff, okay? You absolutely can get some of this stuff and get it prepped and have it ready and just put it somewhere, okay? Just put it in a closet, put it somewhere, and that okay, put it in a tub up in the upper closet that that you take out to get ready if you had to fortify your home from craziness, okay? This is important stuff. I know a lot of people would be like, this is fear or just this is too much, or nothing's ever gonna happen that gets to the point where you have to put barbed wire up on your, on your fence line. We don't know that, okay? You don't know that, I don't know that. And for me and my family, we're preparedness folks, and so we're prepared for all different types of things that we might have to defend against and protect. And it really comes down to how important is it to protect your home. If you're the type that you're like, oh, we're just going to leave, well then that's your choice. I guess you're just going to leave. But our family is a little different, and we're not just going to leave like that, okay? I don't care what's going on outside. So Get your stuff. I would love to hear in the comments below, you guys, things that you have, things that you've done. I like getting ideas from you just as much as you get them from me. And so I'm super, super excited to see these comments today. And I will see you guys on the next video. Make sure you check out Buckeye Seed Garden, the link in the description box, you guys, because amazing, amazing seeds. She has all types of stuff on her Etsy page. So check her out. And I'll see you guys tomorrow on the next video. Take care. Bye.